Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Resolving global shared memory errors in SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS, often involves diagnosing issues related to SQL Server's memory configuration or its interaction with the operating system. Here's a step-by-step tutorial to help you understand and resolve these errors. Understanding global shared memory errors. Global shared memory errors usually occur when SQL Server has issues with memory allocation or when there are conflicts with the operating system's memory management. Common symptoms include: unable to connect to SQL Server, errors indicating that the server is out of memory, performance degradation. Steps to resolve global shared memory errors. Step 1. Check SQL Server configuration. 1. Max server memory setting. Ensure that SQL Server is configured with an appropriate maximum memory allocation. Setting this value too high can lead to memory contention. 2. Min server memory setting. Ensure that the minimum memory setting isn't set too low, which can lead to performance issues. Step 2. Monitor memory usage. Use the following queries to monitor the memory usage of SQL Server. Step 3. Check for memory pressure. You can check for memory pressure using the following query. If you see high wait times for memory-related waits, it indicates that SQL Server is experiencing memory pressure. Step 4. Review server settings. 1. Windows Server memory settings. Ensure that your Windows Server is configured correctly to allocate enough memory for SQL Server. Check the maximum memory setting in Windows, especially for systems with lots of RAM. Ensure that other applications running on the server aren't consuming too much memory. 2. Virtual memory. Ensure that your system's virtual memory settings are configured properly. For SQL Server, it's typically recommended to have a paging file size set to 1.5 times the physical memory. Step 5. Update SQL Server and drivers. Ensure that you are using the latest version of SQL Server and that your drivers are up to date. Bugs in older versions can sometimes lead to memory-related issues. Step 6. Restart SQL Server. If the above steps do not resolve the issue, consider restarting the SQL Server service. This can help clear out any memory leaks or unallocated memory issues. Example scenario. Suppose you have a SQL Server instance that is running on a server with 16 GB of RAM. You notice that SSMS gives a global shared memory error when trying to connect. Here's how you might address the issue. 1. Check current memory settings. 2. Adjust memory settings. If the max server memory is set too high, example 14 GB, consider lowering it to leave space for the OS. 3. Monitor memory usage. Run the memory monitoring query and check for any memory pressure. 4. Check wait stats. Run the wait stats query to check if there's a significant amount of waiting for memory resources. 5. Restart SQL Server. If issues persist, restart the SQL Server service using the SQL Server Configuration Manager or Services Management Console. Conclusion. Global shared memory errors in SSMS can be challenging, but by following these troubleshooting steps, you should be able to identify and resolve the underlying issues. Always ensure that SQL Server has adequate memory and that your configuration settings align with the capabilities of your hardware. Regular monitoring can prevent memory-related problems from escalating.